Debt can make you feel stressed, ashamed, depressed, and cause major strain on any marriage. Living with debt is a familiar burden, unfortunately, for most Americans, and it continues to get worse. Total household debt in the United States is $17.8 trillion as of the second quarter of 2024. That sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but $1 trillion doesn't really mean much without some context. I'm going to break down the average debt by age and share some pretty startling statistics. The average American household pays $1,583 in debt payments each month. The average debt an American owes is over $104,000, spread across mortgage loans, home equity lines of credit, auto loans, credit card debt, student loan debt, and other types of debt like personal loans. Even though mortgage debt generally carries the highest balance, it's not the one that usually causes the most stress. Credit card debt is a wealth killer. It's the highest interest rates that don't allow you to make any progress towards paying them down. Credit card debt has increased by 13% since 2023. Let's take a look at the average credit card debt by generation. This is according to Credit Karma. Gen Z had an average balance of $2,781, while millennials had an average balance of $5,898. Gen X had $8,266. Baby boomers, on the other hand, had $7,464, and the silent generation had an average credit card balance of $5,649. Americans have nearly 600 million open credit card accounts, according to the Q2 of 2024 Federal Reserve Bank of New York data. But the number of credit card accounts isn't distributed evenly among those different age groups. Baby boomers and Gen Xers have more credit cards on average compared to other consumers. According to Experian, here's an average of the number of credit cards that each age group has as of Q3 of 2023. Gen Z has 2 credit cards on average, while millennials have 3.5. Gen X has 4.3 credit cards. Baby boomers also have 4.3, and the silent generation has 3.5 credit cards on average. Credit card debt is just one component of the total debt an American is burdened with. Here's how the average debt balance breaks down per person by age group according to Experian data. This shows the difference in debt from 2022 to 2023. Gen Z had an average debt balance of $29,820 in 2023 and $25,851 in 2022. Millennials saw an increase as well. They increased from $115,784 in 2022 up to $125,000 in 2023. Gen X also saw an increase, but not as much, $157,556 in 2023 and $154,658 in 2022. The baby boomers actually saw a decrease in their average balance from $96,000 in 2022 to $94,880 in 2023, as well as the silent generation. Those that are over age 78, they saw a decrease from 2022 average of $39,345 to $38,600 in 2023. As you can see, debt tends to peak somewhere around your 50s, and balances continue to reduce closer you get to the retirement age. What if we take a look at the average debt by credit score range? There are some fascinating details that come from this research that I think will surprise you. It definitely surprised me. Here's how the average debt breaks down across consumers within the 5 credit score risk levels, according to Experian data from the third quarters of 2022 and 2023. For those with a credit score between 300 and 579, the total average debt in 2023 was $43,584, and it was $36,159 in 2022. For those with the credit scores between 580 and 669, in 2023, they saw an average balance of $68,020 and $65,362 in 2022. For those with a credit score that's in a good range between 670 and 739, in 2023, they saw an average balance of $94,836, and in 2022, it was $95,067. For those with very good credit, the ranges of scores between 740 and 799 in 2023 had an average balance of $108,043, and in 2022, $109,904. For those with excellent credit between the scores of 800 and 850, in 2023, they had the largest balance, which was $158,839, and in 2022, it was $151,890. What I found interesting is the relatively low amount of debt for those that had poor credit. But once I thought about it a little bit, it makes sense that they probably weren't able to get access to credit given their poor scores and possibly their lower income. It also shows you that most people increase their lifestyle as their credit scores increase. How does where you live impact your level of debt? Well, let's take a look at the average debt by state and age group. Several of the states with the highest levels of average total debt are also the states with some of the highest cost of living, which makes sense. According to the Missouri Economic Research and Information Center's Composite Cost of Living Index, that's a mouthful, Hawaii, Washington, D.C., and California rank as number 1, 2, and 4 most expensive places, respectively, in terms of overall cost of living. These 3 places are also the top 3 areas in which Gen X members carry the highest average total debt. Here's a breakdown of the states where each generation has the highest average total debt. Gen Z in Alaska had $23,116 on average. Millennials in the District of Columbia had an average balance of $76,833, while Gen X, also in the District of Columbia, had $96,217 on average. Baby boomers in Hawaii had an average balance of $93,354, and the silent generation, also in Hawaii, had an average balance of $86,749. Given that mortgage debt is the highest amongst all ages, let's see how it breaks down by generation according to Credit Karma. For Gen Z, those ages 18 to 26, the average mortgage debt is $195,000, while millennials ages 27 to 42, it's $261,000. Gen Xers ages 43 to 58, it was $240,000. Baby boomers between ages 59 and 77 is $188,000. And the silent generation for those that are 78 to 95 is $163,000 average balance. Gen Z and baby boomers carry similar average amounts of mortgage debt respectively, even though their average account ages are vastly different. This could suggest that Gen Zs may be choosing homes that are less expensive, or that many baby boomers have refinanced over the years and extended their mortgage loan terms. One interesting finding was that a record share of U.S. homes are now mortgage-free. There's a larger share of homes in America without mortgages now compared to any time since 2005, according to the latest census data. The share of mortgage-free homes in the U.S. has jumped from 34.3 to 39.3 just in the last decade. This is probably explained by the high interest rate environment we've had over the last few years, and many homeowners don't want to refinance or take on new mortgages at double the rate that they currently have. Most people will say don't pay off your mortgage because you can make more money elsewhere by investing it, but there can be a psychological perk to paying off a loan early. If people derive some intrinsic happiness out of paying off their mortgage early because it reduces their stress, then that has value, according to Michael Roberts, which is a Wharton School finance professor. Another wealth killer and financial stressor is your auto loan. The average auto loan balance held by consumers in the United States increased 5.2% to $23,792 in 2023, according to Experian data. Generation X still carries the most amongst generations when it comes to balances owed, and it's not even close. The generation owes more than $27,000 on vehicles on average, and that's nearly $3,000 more on average than the balance of millennials, which is the next generation with the next largest auto loan balance. Gen Z owed an average of $20,305 in 2023, while millennials owed $24,000. Gen X, as we mentioned, owed a whopping $27,000, and baby boomers owed on their average auto loan was $21,609, while the silent generation owed an average of $16,000. We can't talk about debt without talking about student loans. For most Americans, getting a college degree is funded by student loans. The average student borrows over $30,000 to pursue a bachelor's degree, and the average federal student loan debt is $37,853 per borrower, and over 42 million borrowers have federal student loan debt. The distribution of federal student loan debt reveals that borrowers aged 50 to 61 carry the highest average debt at $45,159, while those under age 25 account for 6.1% of the total student loan debt, while 30.1% is held by individuals aged 25 to 34. A significant portion, 39.1%, is owed by those between the ages of 35 and 49, and borrowers aged 50 and older make up 24.6% of the debt. Additionally, adults aged 61 to 65, who began college at the traditional age of 18 faced the highest initial student loan interest rates. If you found this information interesting, you would probably be shocked to see how some baby boomers have managed their finances over the years. Watch this video next to see the other side of the wealthiest generation.